Lynden Transport is one company of a family of companies. It's a privately held company. There's probably 8 major Lynden companies, and I am the president of Lynden Transport, which is the legacy company. It started in 1946. Hank Jansen purchased Lynden Transfer, which was up in Lynden, Washington, and basically serving the Seattle market from farms to the markets in Seattle. In 1946, he purchased it, and in 1954, he pioneered the Alcan Highway, delivering fresh meat up into Alaska. And all the other Lynden companies kind of spun off from that as things developed in Alaska. There's 2,500 employees approximately in all of Lynden, and Lynden Transport has about 300. It's a little less than that, but about 300, and it fluctuates. So that's a little bit about Lynden Transport. So now I'd like to talk about the journey we have been on with Excellent Cultures, and it's been a great thing. But I'm going to rewind probably about 6 years, and we would have a survey every other year, and ever since I've been with Lynden, it was all red, below the national norm, below the Pacific Northwest norm. They're just terrible surveys, but every survey we would get, we would try and act on that survey. We really tried to act on the results of the survey, but the results were never there. Just couldn't improve it. So I'm presenting our survey to the family, Jim Jansen and the board, and I spontaneously said, I have no idea what this is, but this year I'm going to interview every single employee in the company and find out what we can do here. And I committed to doing that. I started in January, and by the end of the year, I got through every employee. It took me the whole year, traveling all over and sitting down with everybody for about a half hour. And I actually had my answer after about 4 or 5 people I spoke to. I didn't need to go through everybody, but I already made the commitment, so I followed through with it, and I talked to everybody. It was a worthwhile thing, very time-consuming. I found out that at our facilities out in the field that we were very technically sound, day to day. We could handle the job, get it done well, be efficient, be effective. But between each other, between some other companies, sister companies, vendors, suppliers, you name it, we weren't so good. And so I know I needed something to fix that. And having a 2-day seminar and call it good for certain people and not everybody, that wasn't the solution I was looking for. I needed something that had a perpetual element to it. And I think Excellent Culture was at the Seattle Transportation Club talking one day, and I thought, well, that sounds pretty interesting. So it was brought to my attention. I looked into it, read some case studies, and I said, hey, this might work for us. So what I did is I sent my managers of the field locations to this session. And when they came back, I had not gone through it yet. I brought them all in and said, okay, what do you guys think? How's this work? And they said, yes, we need this. This is exactly what we need. So I took myself and the rest of my staff through the class, and we did the same thing and said, yeah, this is a pretty good thing. This will really work. So then I put us all together, which is about 25 of us, in a room just like this. I broke everybody up into a group of 5, and we talked about, okay, we really want to do this. They said yes. Like any other business decision you make, what's the return on this? What are we going to get out of this? And so I made everybody separate and go into a little huddle and determine what those returns were going to look like. What are we going to benefit from here? And it was surprising that almost every group came back with the same list. I won't go through the list, but it was very surprising that it was almost identical. And that's what started our journey with Excellent Cultures. So after the survey, after going this through 1 year, we did the 25 people, and we did all of our supervisors and office people. It was about 85 people. That was the first year we did it. And at the end of that year, we did a survey. Went back to the original survey. And I wasn't expecting much. Paul already knows all this. I wasn't expecting much from the results of that survey because we had just did the management and supervisors and some office people. It really didn't resonate to the drivers yet. So we get the results of this survey, And every single category was green, above the national norm, above the Pacific Northwest norm. It's like, oh my God, this stuff's working. It had resonated through from what we were doing at the management level, senior leader level, down to all of our employees. So this is a fantastic thing. And when you look at the things that we were doing, all the communication, it just wasn't the best. And this format allows for constructive discussion, eliminate the fiction, just deal with the facts and make decisions and move forward. And that was probably the best thing that's come out of this. We're now just about done with handling all of the employees in the company, and the format we're doing there is kind of what Steve's doing with you guys today. We're doing that as leaders ourselves. There's 20 of us that have gone through a facilitation type orientation of how to deliver this message. So it's really Steve up here on video communicating to all of our classes, but yet we facilitate the action. So we're engaged with the employee. They get to know me, not just me, but they get to know everybody else as well, and we get to know them, and it solidifies the actions that we're trying to do here. The return is in some ways it's not even measurable, because it's money not spent, money you didn't have to spend in terms of training, retraining, advertising, interviewing, all these things that go through turnover, which was one of the elements we were trying to solve. Our turnover rate is really low. I don't have the number in front of me, but it's as best as it's ever been. And surprisingly, I hear questions from other Lynden companies like, "What are you guys doing? What are you doing?" And I just talk to them about what we're doing, and it's been a good journey. One last thing I'll say is that, it's such an intangible piece in terms of the return. This is less than 1% of my revenue. I can't afford less than 1% of my revenue to train my people. And then if companies want to talk about training, but don't do anything about it, or think it's too expensive or whatever, if you really quantify it and turn the kaleidoscope a little bit, look at it a little bit differently, it's well worth the money. And we've seen really good results, mostly in turnover, and in the environment in the facilities is much more open. And I want to say friendly. We're always friendly, but it's much more open in terms of dialogue.